record, and away we go. Okay, so Sherry wants to know if I'm going to be clear on this. I think what you said was that you wanted to know how to take and make a 90-day challenge out of all the different things that you created. Did I capture that right?
Yeah, because some things are subjective. It's not like some things are not concrete.
Right. Okay.
Or you don't know when you'll really, like if you wanted to lose so much weight, well, you can kind of go on past experience, but sometimes you can be doing everything right and the reward doesn't come till later.
Okay. So here's how I do this. Okay. Losing weight is a ridiculous challenge because I mean when you look at me, for example, as soon as I start working out, I might lose some body fat, but I'll gain weight like that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Because you're building muscle.
Yeah. I mean, it's what happens with me. The only time I ever lose weight is if I stick to a strict like triathlon, like obsessive compulsive exercise and diet routine. So like last year when I went strict keto and Tracy and I were in prep for Mount Rainier,
Mm-hmm.
it's the lowest that I've been in probably 12 years. But then as soon as I go back to my weightlifting and kickboxing and I got a lot more muscle mass going on, weight is irrelevant because I just, according to society's BMI, I'm obese.
Oh, go on.
Oh, morbidly obese. That's the categorization that I get even in my medical office. You are morbidly obese. And I'm okay.
Okay.
I'll heed that advice.
Yeah.
So I guess I need to become anorexic. So weight for me is not a great goal. What is a good goal, Sherry, is what do you want to physically be able to do? So for me, that's why I always schedule races or some level of something to go and accomplish. But I do that now. I've done this for so long. This is almost exactly how I do it. I usually do like a little 5 to 10 kilometer running race for March, April. It doesn't have to be running for you. I'm just saying my schedule is like a little running race. And then by June, July, we're doing all of our mountain climbing races. So we got a 23 kilometer mountain race end of June. And then the summer is back to strength and less cardio. And by the time I'm in October, November, December, it's all strength and kickboxing. So I put on a lot of weight, like overweight, but I put on a lot of muscle mass. And then by the time, like right now, I'm dying for cardio again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking, so I cycle all my stuff. So what I would highly recommend that you do is it's more important to pick a challenge target. I'm going to be able to do this by then. And when you're doing that challenge, the result will end up being weight loss if you stick to going and doing the challenge.
But I don't know what kind. You see, I don't have those kind of challenges in my life.
Sure you do. You just have to be imaginative. So you don't have to necessarily do a running race, or you don't have to do kickboxing. You don't have to climb a mountain. But I would have you consider that you could do some sort of, I can't remember. You've had a difficult time getting onto a spin bike, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. The only type of bike I can do is recumbent.
Okay. So that's what it would be. It would be something like that, where it'd be, I want to be able to bike on the recumbent bike. I want to be able to bike 20 kilometers in X amount of time.
Okay.
So challenge yourself in a way you know that you can. And instead of weight being the target, make the challenge be the target.
Okay, so X number of miles, kilometers in X amount of time. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a lot of these other things are going to be nebulous as well. So it's like when I've got this list of, so I've done out of the the fact map training. Let's just say I've got a list of working, not working, okay, and I've got this list of, you know, my training schedule is working.
Yeah.
Not working is I don't have a coach or accountability team. Working is
I'm able to do
meal
that.
prep during the week. Not working is right shoulder injury, whatever it is. So you're just listing these things. So what happens is then you turn these into leverage and learn or what is it? Learn or acquire or whatever it is. This now turns into keep training schedule consistent, continue weekly meal prep, acquire coach for cardiovascular training on the recumbent bike, schedule consistent physiotherapy for right shoulder, etc., etc. You're going to make this list, blah, blah, blah. Then what I do is I take the single biggest one that's going to have the biggest impact on getting me where I want to go. Maybe it's, let's get me a coach. Okay. So if I decide then that what I want to be able to do by the end of 3 months is 20 kilometers in 1 hour. Let's just say this is the challenge that I have.
Okay.
This becomes the one thing that I focus on, and I don't even pay attention to the other ones. Like, I do this, everything else doesn't matter. Then as soon as I do this, where's my strike through? Then I go to, I want to make sure that I've got my schedule super consistent. And I work on that for 2 to 3 weeks until I'm like, I got it. And the way that I do the schedule, I think I've shared this with you several times, Sherry, is I will literally sometimes go to the gym in the morning for 3 minutes.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I go in, I push a weight around, I'm like, shower time. And people in there are like, pardon my French, but what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm gaining my, just getting there sometimes is part of the challenge. But saying to myself, I'm not going to go, not an option. It becomes not an option because I'm doing this thing.
Right.
And if I don't have a consistent training schedule, I've decided that if I don't have a consistent training schedule, ain't getting there. Now I do this for 3 weeks. All of a sudden, I'm getting a little earlier. I'm getting used to my routines. All of a sudden, I'm building some endurance. All of a sudden, like one day, I'm like, I got a little energy. I'm going to push it a little bit. Ah, awesome. That felt great. But it's because I built that habit. Right? Then next is, I'm going to leverage this. And all you do is you just keep going down that list. And I will guarantee you by the time you get through those things, if you just commit to getting through them, this occurs.
So do you keep like you know how you've got all the things on the list, you choose the one, but like at some point do you keep adding those other things then?
So based out of the work that we did on day one, right, you would have come up with a list of all the things that are working and not working.
Yeah, I did.
You made a list, and you look at your list and you pull the one that's going to make the biggest difference for us. If it takes you 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you just do it until you get that done.
Oh,
If you have 2 or 3 things if I have 2 or 3 things on my list that week, I guarantee you I get nothing done. It's overwhelming to the brain.
But I know you're doing meal prep.
Yeah. But what I'm doing is I'm leveraging that. I already do that. Now I'm gonna leverage that and make it even better. Now I'm gonna make it paleo.
Okay. But I'm kind of like, I kind of know that you need to do more than one strategy in order to reach a goal, like usually.
What goal?
Well, I don't know. Now I'm totally confused what I should be doing.
Well, my challenge to you is that you have to make the decision as to what you're going to challenge yourself to.
Okay.
In body.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it's usually a race. To be honest, with my last quarter,
Mm-hmm.
my last quarter target was just to relax and keep a consistent training schedule, so that by the time I get to January, February, like the training schedule is consistent. And that was my challenge, Sherry, was to give myself the space to do as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Josh, nice to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was my actual challenge. Can I do as little as possible but keep up my training schedule? That was actually my challenge. You just have to decide what your target is going to be for the next 6 months or for the next 3 months. Okay. So being for me is always around coaching. So adventure, accomplishment, inclusion, edge. Okay. So I use my lens of my values and my mission statement to determine what my target is there. Right now, well, we're doing Men and Women of Iron, a big event here in Victoria, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're setting up Denver, and then we're setting up Thailand. I've got a lot of work to get those organized, and that's my mission for the end of this quarter. Okay, but it's tied to my values and my mission. Balance. What I've learned, and I'll just share my secrets. Again, I have 2 dates per week with Tracy, and then, again, you can, because Sherry, you've got a unique situation.
Yeah.
You could do. I want to organize a date with Kathy every week to make sure that I keep my heartfelt friendship really, really tight and really close. It doesn't matter. You get to choose who this is. For me, it's 2 dates with Tracy and 1 date with kids per week, and I have one major thing I do with the kids. Tracy's not allowed per quarter. So I'll be taking the kids skiing. Tracy's not allowed to come. Okay? That's balance. I've just learned that's my pattern now.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday night is me and Tracy hiking and dinner. Friday is a date. And we've got a strategy to that, which I've shared in the group.
Yeah.
Biz, okay, so for me right now, I'm undergoing major, massive changes within my business structure. I'm moving towards my coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so a complete overhaul of a strategic financial plan is my target. So I've got about 19 things I got to do for that. I got to do cash flow analysis. I've got to do meet with my investing guy, my insurance people. I've got all these different things, and they're all just to-dos. But when I get through all of them, I'm going to end up with a strategic financial plan by the end of March. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when it comes down to picking the actual target, I mean, commit to the target. And then what you got to do is reverse engineer all the things you need to do in order to go hit that. And then each week, you commit to focusing on only one thing that's going to get you closer to that target.
So you could, like, I mean, you the following week, you could add a new strategy.
Sure.
Okay. So it's not like you got, because when you're saying pick the one thing, I'm thinking pick the one thing for 3 months when you say that initially, right? So
No, pick the one thing you're going to do this week that's going to get you closer to your target.
okay.
Out of your list, what's the one thing? I'm going to work this week on my meal prep and aligning it a little bit more paleo this week. Next week, it's going to be a different one thing.
Okay.
So you're pulling one thing forwards until you get it done. Next, as opposed to just focusing on this massive list and going, I'm overwhelmed and I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. Okay, so what it does is, I do this with Edward and these guys all the time. I'm going to show you my general's tent from this week. Okay, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but this is what it looks like. Okay, there's the 7 levels down here of the freedom formula. Okay,
yeah.
Up here, body, being, balance, and business are my targets. Okay, these are all my body, being, balance, and business. These are all the things I'm doing throughout the week. My one thing in business, and the 4 things I've got to do in order to accomplish it. Okay, so every week I write my values, my mission statement, and my targets in each, the body, being, balance, and business. I write it all out every week, handwrite it, because it starts to stick. And I'll go through that again, Sherry. If you're going to come in and join us and do some of the coaching and stuff, etc., I'll make sure you're super clear on this and you have a perfect format for organizing this. Okay. Right now, I just want you to, coming out of the challenge, I want you to feel fairly confident that you know within the point of the gap map is where do you want to be in a year. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick your first major step.
So you mean, okay, so for 90 days or the 1 year?
90 days.
Okay.
What's your first major step? And then what I do is every 90 days, I redo the gap map for a year. So I look at it and I go, sometimes that 1 year where I wanted to be is totally and radically changed. Mm-hmm. And then I go, what's my one step I need to do to be closer to that 1 year? I do this every 3 months.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is I'm constantly pulling stuff forwards, and that's why I typically get more stuff done, Sherry, as you know, in 3 months than most people get in a year, because I'm just pulling stuff forwards.
Well, okay, that's what draws me to doing it this way, because it's not working the way I'm doing it.
I know. I know. And part of the reason why you'll notice how much I get done, Sherry, is I'm part of about 7 different accountability groups. I mean, first of all, I'm leading half of them. I can't tell people to do things that I don't do myself. Mm-hmm. It's out of integrity. Yeah. Number 2 is if I don't show up for my groups, like you know how competitive I am.
I know you are.
You know that I'm probably going to win most of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, just because it would kill you not to.
It's who I am.
Yeah.
So the accountability piece, and this is part of what I will reiterate to you as much as possible, you guys, is where most of us fail is where? You can tell me, Sherry, be honest. Where do most of us fail?
We're scattered.
Yeah, and there's no accountability.
Yeah.
when we're accountable just to ourselves, oh my God.
Well, I think we're all experts at rationalizing why we couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me just pause for a second. Let me ask you guys a couple of questions. I'm hoping by now most people are familiar with the 7 units. Let's just go through that real quick. So most of us are familiar, hopefully now, with these 7 units, I hope. What does the engine mean to you, Sherry? When I say the engine, what does it mean to you now that you've seen this?
Having regular daily habits.
Yeah.
That get you to where you want to go.
That's right. Daily consistent habits. And for the most part, you've done a phenomenal job with that. You participated in the 30-day health habit challenge on several occasions. Now it's just a matter of non-negotiable. Like for the next 90 days, you're not going to do just the 30-day health habit challenge. You're going to do 90 days and you're going to apply it to all 4 areas. And again, that's the part of the accountability that makes it work. Is because in this group, just like in the 30-day health habit challenge, you have to post on a daily basis. And guess what? Oh, there's a pucker factor with that. Edward's listening right now, and he's just gone through, if I can share, he's just gone through his first 90 days within Men of Iron. And it's a ton of work, isn't it, Ed?
Oh, yeah.
It's a ton of work until you recognize, like within like the first 30 to 40 days, everybody was looking at Ed. We couldn't recognize him. Like because he's so consistent now with what it is that he does, his physical form changed because he was so consistent. And it's doing it on your own. Oh, oh my God, I would love to be good at doing it on my own. And I think that there's times where I am. But when you're doing it in a group, there's that, I don't want to let everyone down. I kind of want to win. There's just something about doing it in a group. As soon as I tell myself, I think I got this now, I screw everything up. I always find a way of sabotaging things. So for me, I think what kills momentum in our life is when we don't have a coach, a teacher, an accountability group, or somebody holding our hand and pushing us into the fire. The nice thing about and Ed, you can speak on this too if you want, but the nice thing I find about having a group of people is there's just that added incentive, and it's an unwritten pressure. It just makes you do it. It's unbelievable. What's your experience, Ed?
So for me, it was not wanting to let other people down. That fits with my personality. Like, I like connection and contribution and adventure. Those are my values. And when I'm in a group like that, I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to be the one that pulls the team down.
That's it.
So that was the thing that would motivate me. So you'll find a thing as you go along and work on your values. You'll find a way that you can contribute and participate in the group. So like Coach Ryan is saying, like his is about like what was it? Winning, like the challenge, and I want to be first, and I'm going to push myself. Like that's your thing, and you do that.
Totally.
So you'll find your spot in the group, and every group and pod and accountability group that you're connected with, you'll each have your place. So
Totally.
I don't think you need to be somebody else. You just need to work through this work, find who you are, and then add that into the mix.
That's it. Hey, Josh, I got a question for you. You want to unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for joining, man. I haven't seen you on many of the other ones. I want to make sure you get something out of this as well. Have you had any questions, or where are you at with the work so far?
Working through it, just taking my time. I usually come back and watch them later just because I'm in the office. I mean, I've actually got patients out there in therapy right now that they're working with, so I kind of snuck back here and hopped on.
Good for you. Okay. Have you had any questions so far going through the material?
No, the what is it? The Patriot missile.
Patriot missile game, which is, I mean, you've done some of this work, so
Yeah.
You've done the stack before, haven't you?
Yep. Yeah. The stack got me through one hell of a time in my life where my mother-in-law was living on my couch.
Yeah,
I think I could stack on somebody so much.
that's a good one.
But
Okay, did you have a question about the Patriot missile then?
no, I'm just kind of curious. You know, it's kind of a different take.
It is. Yeah.
So
It basically, let me explain in a nutshell. When you do the Patriot missile game, it self-regulates the trigger in a similar way that the stack does. But then what happens is it takes some of John DeMartini's work, Nima Rahmani's work, and it goes into reparenting. Because I find that when we do the cognitive work of Garrett J. White and of Byron Katie, it's okay that yeah, I can get through that. But if I don't deal with the emotion that's coming from my past history, it just continues to circulate. So what happens is I've got this little program that's running in my computer that's taking up brain space, but I'm not aware that it's there. And if I don't deal with that, it just keeps coming back and it keeps triggering me. And so I've found after doing the stack for years now that I had to add the emotional component and go back into to actually fixing the damn wounds that are causing the triggers, which is why I've studied more DeMartini and Nima Rahmani stuff. So I've added that in to reparent it. And then you can sit there and every time I'm triggered now, I know that it's me disassociating from my soul, disassociating from my being, disassociating from my values and my mission every single time. And without having a way to say, oh, thank you. Wow, was I ever off track? And then going, what were my values, my mission, and what's a different story? And how can I go and put this back in line with where I wanted to go and actually come out of it with action steps that were relevant to me, not to anyone else. I just really struggled with the stack. So for me, this has just been a synthesis of all the major players, Byron Katie, Garrett J. White, John DeMartini, Nima Rahmani, and it's just kind of synthesized it into something that works better. Now, that being said, I finally, Edward's going to cringe when I say this, because I've been working now for way too long, and then it's just going to continue, as he likes to say. I've finally I've got the new revision on the actual app, and they said that I'm gonna have access to it tomorrow or Wednesday, so it'll be by Thursday. I'm going to give you guys the access to this on the app. So they will be sending you each an email with access to that. And then I'm going to give you guys 7 days to play with it. And that'll be one of the challenges that I'm going to leave everyone with today is everyone in this group, I would love to challenge to doing it for 7 straight days and then give me as much feedback as they can. Okay, so after that, it'll be available for anybody that's going to do any of the coaching with us or continue on in any way, shape, or form. You'll just continue to use it. But like for right now, I want to make sure that you get as much out of it as you possibly can. And I think that based on what I know about you, Josh, and where you want to go and some of the conversations that you and I have had in the past, I think it'll help you stay really focused and get rid of all the other shit that's just causing energy waste in your head.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anything else come up from the work at all? Any other questions at all? Anything else you'd appreciate clarity on?
No, I mean it's been pretty, straightforward, and
good.
As long as you dig deep and you're willing to, expose your ass end and say, "This is me."
That's it. Yeah. Now, I mean, this is the clean version, right? The Men of Iron, Women of Iron version that we're going through right now. Oh man, that's the vulnerable version. That's we dig dirty on that one. So it's so funny when we do those, and Ed, you can attest to this or not. Most people are so worried that they're not going to be able to do the physical Navy SEAL based stuff that we do, but I would say the hardest part, the awakening part, was the mental emotional. So I don't have the time to dive too much into all that stuff here, but oh my God, diving into the Patriot Missile game is a start, because it'll actually take you into some of that mental emotional stuff that is there, and we definitely get into some of that in the coaching. But, so no, Josh, I'm so stoked that you were able to participate and hopefully get a little bit more, kind of synthesize a little bit more out of this process. And at some level, at some point, if now, awesome. If not till later, I hope that you can join us in some of the coaching and participate in some of the groups, so that you can really kick some ass. That'd be awesome. And I'll get into that here in a moment as far as how you can do that if you want. Sherry, any other questions, my dear?
Not at this time. I got to rework my goals and stuff.
Awesome. I'm just completely pushed you around in there. Let me just stop the share for a sec. I just want to see if anyone else is asking questions at the moment, because otherwise I'm just going to, what else did I want to get to? 7 days of the Patriot Missile game. The app is coming. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to try that. What else? How to get the best results out of the 7 units in the Freedom Formula. Yeah, I just want you guys all to consider, if there's a specific area of body, being, balance, and business that you really want to blow up and do better with, hire a coach, join a team, a club, an association. I can't tell you how many times I run into people that are like, I just can't get any further. I just can't get any further. This isn't working. This isn't working. And they're still doing the same thing they've always done. And I tell you, it takes me having, like for me, I need accountability. I need somebody holding my feet to the fire. Wherever you want to grow, hire somebody. Get involved with a group. So as far as coaching here, I'm not telling anybody they have to coach with me, but I'll give you some options if you want to participate with this group. I hope I've gotten most people throughout the process. There's been lots of phenomenal questions, as well as participation in the webinars. I hope this has been beneficial for everyone. I hope I got through many of those. This particular group will close down on Wednesday. So if anybody has not yet got through everything, please make sure that you do. The information is going to disappear on Wednesday, but the app will be available probably for a week, for sure, starting on Wednesday, and I will be available to answer questions. So as you guys go through that, I will see some of the information that comes in through those, and I'll be able to help you guys with those, okay? As far as coaching, so let's just make sure that I'm crystal clear on this, and Ed, you've been helping me out with this a little bit, so I want to make sure that I'm saying this properly, okay? So I know men and women of iron is not for everybody. If you're at the end of your rope and you are ready to dive into the full bore experience and the work, we have one Women of Iron experience for anybody that's, and this is just for people now. If you're watching this months down the road, this is going to be inapplicable. But January of 2020, we got one more Women of Iron event. It's the 26th, I believe. I just want to make sure I'm getting this. No, 24th and 25th. It is in Texas. We have a Denver Men of Iron. Now we've just added Men and Women of Iron. We're opening the door to that in Denver, April 17th and 18th. And by the way, Sherry, you'll giggle at this one. That happens to be my wife's birthday weekend.
You're bad. You're
Yes,
really bad.
I will be in Denver. So we've already discussed it. So I owe her big.
Yeah, you do.
And then we're also opening a door to Thailand. It's going to be a way bigger experience. It's going to be I think it's 4 days long, Ed. Yeah, we got 4 days. It'll be a week kind of getting there and back, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all coming. Definitely let me know if you have any questions about those. Most of the events, depending on the location, are between $1,500 to $3,000 for the events. Coaching one-on-one, if anybody ever has desire to coach with me one-on-one, I do take a couple clients. It's a little bit harder for me to do one-on-one because of the amount of time that goes into those. So those are $3,000 per month when I do that, or $15,000 over 6 months. So I understand that's a big haul for people that really want to dive into the work. That's why I have a tendency to push people more towards the group. I feel that people get more out of group coaching, and our group coaching is always about $1,000 a month, or about $5,000 over 6 months. What we're doing in this group, and this is what I said to you earlier, Sherry, for this group, I'm really asking for some help and some feedback with using the app and developing it. So this is going to be one of the only groups that I'm gonna reduce that fee to $279 a month for 6 months, or $1,500 for 6 months. And so if you guys want to come and rock this, you want to participate at an extremely high level, I'm going to make it available to you guys. Obviously, I can't reduce my price like that forever. It bogs me down. But for this group, I'm asking for some assistance with working through the app, and I want to make sure that you guys get access to that. So for anybody in this group that would like and appreciate the just the links to those so that you can look at what's involved, etc., in any of the coaching, no pressure at all. I will give you guys probably until the end of the week. Did we put a date on that, Ed? I can't remember.
We put a date till the end of this week.
Okay.
Till
So,
Friday.
all right. So I'll put those out so that everybody has access to them, and you guys can read through that. And if you guys would like to participate, we've got
When would
3
it
or 4.
start?
Sorry, Sherry?
When would it start?
I'm probably not going to be able to start it for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay. I need everybody to go through and actually do the 7-day app challenge. So we're going to go through that. So I'm going to guess that the actual program is likely not going to start until the 27th of January.
Okay.
Happens to be my birthday. Funny that. So that's when we'll go, and it'll be 6 months, and you got to dive in. But the nice thing, like I said, about doing the group training is everybody gets more out of it than they would ever go on their own. I'm just going to throw this out as even my clients that go one-on-one. Yeah, they get more of my time, but there's not that pressure of the group. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody does better when they do it in a group. Some of my more introverted clients or clients that just want to do things one-on-one, I guess that's where I've done stuff like that as well. There's times where I just want my coach to go one-on-one. I still find I always do better when I'm in a group. There's a camaraderie about it. Anyway, I'll put those links, Ed and I will put those links into the group for those of you guys that want to kind of dive into the work a little bit deeper. And yeah, we'll give everybody kind of to the end of the week to make sure that you have an opportunity to look at those links. Otherwise, I'm also available to answer questions, and definitely questions about the Patriot missile game. So Josh, if you have questions, I want you to dive into it, because I just think it's going to be unreal for you. It definitely takes things a little bit deeper on an emotional level, and then it dives. You have to get really clear on your values and your mission statements so that it really helps to propel it. And the more you do it, the more you're like, that is my value, that is my mission, that's where I'm going. You just start to live it all of a sudden. So it's pretty phenomenal. Julia, thank you for chiming in. Are you still with an injured cat or what?
Yeah, still got that, and I got a house full of kids in a closed dojo, but other than that, it's fine.
Awesome. So you've just come into the tail end. I'm just about done, so I apologize. I'm going to be shutting down here in just a couple of minutes, but I'll have this up and in replay in probably 15 minutes, so you can watch it right again. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That being said, you and I have talked lots. Julia, do you have any other questions that you think that you could ask that I can answer for everybody's benefit at all?
Without knowing anything that you talked about for the whole hour, stick with it. Keep doing the work. Write everything down and ask questions. Like, don't be like me and be like, oh, I know, and then get there and be like, no, I didn't know, and I didn't want to say it.
That's it. It's a good one. Josh, anything else you can think of, man?
Nope, not off the top of my head.
Awesome, brother. Okay. I look forward. I'll be communicating with all you guys through the group for the next week or so. So stick to it. Make sure you get as much as you can out of what's in there right now, and ask away. Got lots of time for you guys. Okay. Love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for participating in this group. It's been wonderful having each of you guys. I will talk with you guys soon. Lights out. Bye for now, you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.